Maybe you're tired of procrastinating. Maybe you've watched video after video on how to stop procrastinating and get on with your life, but none of them really seem to fix anything. Well, welcome to another video on killing your procrastination. But this one is different. This is going to give you practical steps and insight on how to move past your procrastination and actually step forward with the goals that you have. Hey, welcome to Growing Up Kingdom. My name is Daniel, and I'm so excited that you're here. If you've been looking for a place where you feel like you can be encouraged, where you feel like you can grow in your confidence, this is an absolutely great place to do that. So make sure that you stick around. Now, a lot of us, we know what it's like to procrastinate on things. We set out with a goal to do something. We have stuff we know needs to get done, but we don't feel like doing it. And it just doesn't get done. Maybe we set out with good intentions. Maybe we set out already intending not to do something right away. But either way, maybe an hour later, a day later, a week later, a month later, a year later, we realize I haven't even done what I was supposed to do. I think we've all been there before. But the difference between different people is some people, they recognize the procrastination. They decide, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and do something about this. And there's other people who realize it. They see, oh, I've been procrastinating, and they do absolutely nothing about it. If you're watching this video, I assume, or listening to this podcast, I assume that you are the sort of person who knows they're procrastinating, but actually wants to do something about it. So let's talk about it. Let's break this down and see. Let's talk about some practical steps to overcoming procrastination. I'm just going to give you a couple of points. Point number one, stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it does not exist. I think a lot of people, when they set out to do something, me included, we think about, doing it at the right time, at the right moment, when everything aligns and everything comes together. But in reality, it sometimes takes forever for that to happen, and sometimes that moment never, ever comes. Now, I would have to say, definitely, I do believe in waiting on the Lord. If you feel like you're waiting to mature in a certain area, you feel like you're waiting on the Lord to move somehow in your life, by all means, wait for that. But if there's nothing holding you back, what are you waiting for? You're waiting for everything to align just perfectly so everything comes together. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 4 says, "He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap." Now, when we're talking about procrastination, I want to bring in some authority into this podcast, because I could talk about it as much as I want and just say all sorts of random stuff. And if you've been watching any sort of videos on this, you'll know there's a lot of people who just talk about do this, don't do that, don't do that. But I wanted to bring in a different authority. So we're going to be reading from the Bible. It's going to give us some clear direction. And I think that's pretty clear. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. Now, obviously, this is just talking about outside in nature. But if you want a simple, real life translation that applies to real life, let's see if we can break this down here. If you're waiting for everything to be just right, if you're looking at the wind all the time, if you're looking at the clouds all the time, waiting for them just to be perfect, you'll never start anything. You tell yourself you'll study when you feel motivated. You'll start that creative project when you feel a little bit more inspired. But what if that time never comes? What if you don't feel any more inspired? What if you never feel like studying? Does that mean it's just not going to get done? For a lot of people, that's exactly what that means. And maybe for you, that's what it's been like for you. You don't feel motivated to study, so you don't study. You don't feel completely inspired, so you don't start that creative project that you've been wanting to start for a while. And hours later, days later, weeks later, years later, you realize, I haven't even done what I've been intending to do. This podcast here that you're listening to right now was a victim of that for a long time. I've always wanted to start a podcast for years, and I procrastinated on it, you guys. I had plans to do it. I worked slowly on it, building different things out, but I never really sat down just to record an episode until last year, because I was waiting for everything just to be just perfect and for me to know everything about the industry before I got into it, waiting to feel completely confident before I sat down here in front of the microphone. But at some point I had to realize, you know what? That time's probably never going to come. I'm never going to feel completely confident behind this microphone. I don't think I ever will. I don't think I'll ever feel 100% ready to record an episode. I'm always going to be maybe a little sleepy, maybe a little hungry. Maybe it's just going to be, um, I don't know, um, an itch on my arm somewhere that's going to throw me off always a little bit. If I'm waiting for everything just to be perfect to record, I'd never record. But at some point, I had to get over thinking everything had to be perfect so I could just set out and just go for it. Excuses don't take you anywhere. Some people just make excuses about everything, and maybe you're there. I know I've been there before when, again, it comes to starting different things. They don't get you anywhere. Execution does. Taking one step forward, that actually gets you somewhere. That's a place where we can actually start. Take the first step, even if it's small. Point 2, destroy the excuse monster. It's a funny way to put it, but I think it's really good. Because we have excuses, and they will come to get us if we don't watch it. I know I just touched on excuses, but this is an actual point for it. If we don't watch out for our excuses, they come for us. And we're the ones inviting them in. Oh, yeah, well, I can't do my homework yet because my pencil isn't completely sharpened. Oh yeah, I can't go out and start that creative project because, um, I don't know, my camera isn't fully charged yet. We have all these excuses. We do these things. We decide to find some little tiny aspect of something and base our whole not wanting to do something, not doing something around it. Point number 3, and this is going to apply to some people. This isn't going to apply to everyone. It's important to remember and act like you're doing it for the Lord. Do it like you're doing it for God. Colossians 3, verse 23 through 24 say, whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ. So, imagine for a moment, you're turning in your homework as if Jesus was going to grade it. Imagine you're cleaning your room as if the Lord was going to come over later. Some of us, we might be like half procrastinating where we'll go and we'll do something and we'll just do it a little bit. We'll maybe clean our room half-heartedly, do half of it, just make sure it looks good. And I'm the sort of guy who loves to do that. I'm the sort of guy who will do something just enough that that has some semblance of being finished. I'll be the sort of guy to, I don't know, maybe just put a little bit of work into cleaning my room, just enough that it looks like it's done, that it looks like it's clean, but I haven't really taken all the time I could have to clean it. And some of us will know, like, going back to cleaning the room example, some people can tell when you don't put the work in. Like, if I put a half-hearted work into cleaning my room, my mama can come later and she'll say, yeah, all right, I see you did some work, but what about this? What about this? How about that? And she's not focusing on every single little thing that I didn't do, but if I don't do the work right, it shows. And so sometimes, we'll be lax if we know we're not going to be held to a really high standard all the time. So we might only go out and do something halfways. But if the Lord was actually watching everything you were doing, if you were turning in your homework to Jesus, if you were cleaning the room as if the Lord was actually going to walk into your house, would you do it the same way or would you not? I don't think you'd do it the same way. And for some of us, we end up procrastinating because we just end up doing things just enough to get by. And that still fuels our laziness. That still fuels our tendency to sit back and do nothing because we're focused on doing just enough. So even if we go out and do something, sometimes it still fuels our procrastination. When you shift your mindset and realize that everything you do, your school, your work, your responsibilities, when you realize it's an opportunity to honor the Lord, procrastination, it loses its grip. It's got to let go. And realize, you know what, this is actually important what I'm doing. Everything that I'm doing, it actually has repercussions. Different people are going to look at it, different people are going to see it, and I want to be honoring the Lord in everything I do. Value your time because you're not getting it back. We talk about spending time with people because just like money, when you spend time, it's gone. I spend my time doing certain things, you spend your time doing certain things. I'm spending my time right now sitting here recording this episode. You are right now sitting here, standing there, doing whatever work you're doing, listening to this episode. We're spending our time on something. And in this case, you're spending your time trying to figure out how do I beat this procrastination because I don't want to keep wasting my time. I don't want to keep spending my time on meaningless things. Ephesians 5, verse 15 through 16 says, "Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil." I want to look at that piece again. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time. Let's talk facts. You get 86,400 seconds every single day. 86,400 seconds every single day. That's a gift. You've got something to do with that. If you woke up this morning, you've got 86,400 seconds to do something with today. The question is, what are you doing with it? Are you sitting, scrolling TikToks, scrolling Instagram, YouTube Shorts? What are you doing with your time? Or are you actually spending that time and using it to get some result? Are you stepping out and doing that project that you've wanted to do for so long? Are you going to actually finally clean your room because it's been a mess for the past 3 months? What are you going to do with your time? How are you going to spend your time? Because again, you're not getting it back. Every TikTok you watch, every mindless Instagram post that you scroll through, every carousel that you scroll through, it's your time going somewhere. So would you rather spend your time on that, something that's not going to leave you feeling any better 15 minutes from now? Or would you rather spend your time going forward and doing something that you know is going to actually make a difference? That's my question to you. Number 5, just start. Because delayed obedience is disobedience. If my mom asked me to clean my room now, and I say, okay, and I do it a week from then, I clean my room, yes. But that's not what she meant. If maybe you feel the Lord's calling you to do something, maybe someone else has asked you to do something and you just keep sitting back and saying, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. That's only half obedience, if anything at all. And I don't think I have to convince you that that doesn't make any sense at all. If you ask someone to do something for you, you expect them to get it done. So if someone asks you to get something done, if you know you've got to get something done, why are you still sitting back and not doing anything? Sometimes, maybe right now, you're listening to this and you're like, oh man, yeah, someone asked me to do this. I was supposed to do that, but I've been delaying it. Yeah, I'm just going to ask you, what's that about? Maybe start moving forward. Do something there. James chapter 4, verse 17 says, so whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him, it is sin. Now, maybe you're watching this and you're like, oh, sin, no sin, Jesus, no Jesus. I don't really know where I stand on that. I think you can appreciate this verse either way. Anyone who knows what the right thing to do is and doesn't do it, I mean, what are you doing? That one stings. Whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. God's placed dreams, assignments, responsibilities in your life for a reason. There's a reason for them. And every time you say, I'll do it later, I'll do it some other time, maybe tomorrow, you're not just delaying the process. Honestly, you might be delaying your obedience. God's calling you to step up, just to start, just to go out and actually do something. Do what he's called you to do. Go start that project he set on your heart. Go talk to that person that he's been calling you to talk to, even though you don't feel like it, even though you're afraid to, maybe even. This isn't my notes, but sometimes I feel like we procrastinate on certain things because we're afraid, we're unsure. I'm not sure if I should do this. I'm not sure. Sometimes the only way to really know is if you step out and do it. I didn't know what it was going to be like to start a podcast until I actually sat down and did it. I didn't know what it was like to learn to ride a bike until my parents convinced me to sit down and do it. Now, I'm so glad I learned to ride a bike back when I was a little kid because I love doing it now. I'm so glad I learned to play the guitar because I love doing it now. I'm so glad I started this podcast because I love doing it now. But they're all stuff I was unsure about starting in the moment, but I'm so glad that I've done it now. So I'm going to ask you, what are things that you know would make your life so much better if you were to step out and just actually start doing them? Things you know are important, things you know are valuable. What are things you can actually step out and start doing now? That's my challenge to you today. Find one thing that you can stop procrastinating on and just take one step forward today. That's where I want to leave this episode. Find one thing and do it today. Different people will give you methods, formulas, Excel sheets on how to beat procrastination. The biggest tip, most important thing is just start doing one thing today. Start moving forward somehow, in some way. That's the most important thing because otherwise you just keep planning, you just keep thinking about things, keep gathering resources, and that leaves you nowhere. Make one step forward. Start going for it every single day. Set yourself a routine. I hope this episode has helped you. If it has, make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, follow, do whatever you can on the platform you're listening. And if this has helped you and you think it's going to help someone else, by all means, go ahead, share it with a friend. I'm sure they'd love to hear it. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.